When it comes to genders, modern society tends to look away. Nowadays, it seems as though femininity and masculinity could be the same thing. As though they could be mashed up till they became one, or take hints of the other regardless of your gender. I don't have a solid opinion on whether that is right or wrong, but I do know that men and women are completely different, and that when they acknowledge and embody that, something beautiful happens. If you're not new to this channel, you may be wondering whose voice this is and why it has changed from a man to a woman. That is because the prior voice I was using was AI.
This is the voice I use in my prior videos.
I started using that AI voice when I started making long-form content on this channel. Because I thought that if I wanted to reach both men and women, that it had to be a man. But lately I've been neglecting the authenticity of my channel, and I realized no matter how true my thoughts were or the topics that I expressed, I could never seem to make AI sound like I wanted it to. So I decided I'll narrate them from now on. But what does this have to do with femininity and masculinity? Well, I think everything. We can all agree that men and women are more likely to listen and take advice from people within their own gender than the other. And if not, it is most likely a man that they will be willing to listen to. Why is this? Is it because men do actually have a leading nature and women a submitting one? I thought these stereotypes and beliefs were exactly that. That they had been left behind. That they were old school. But are they really? Men and women are wired differently. Science backs this up. Testosterone in men and estrogen in women do very much shape the way we think, act and respond to the world around us. Men are wired to assert physical dominance, focus on systems and competition, while women are more emotionally intuitive, nurturing and easily connecting. And to deny this is to deny the nature that has literally built humanity into what it is. If you were to ask people who the most feminine woman in the world is or was, there would be many answers. Some would say Marilyn Monroe, Ana de Armas, or Ariana Grande. But in my opinion, Audrey Hepburn is the most feminine woman that has ever lived.
Former Academy Award winner, Miss Audrey Hepburn.
Hello, Jerry.
Hello, Audrey. How are you, darling?
Very well, thank you.
Something nice seeing you again, dear.
Jerry,
Yes?
before I present the award, I have something for you.
For me? I don't figure to get one of them.
Well, it's not quite an Oscar, but for your wonderful work tonight, the Board of Governors of the Academy have asked me to give you this.
Thank you.
And one for me, too.
That's very nice, and I certainly appreciate it. I can't wait to get home to see if it fits on the mantle.
Her grace, her empathy, her groundedness, her elegance, and her ability to make everybody in the room feel refreshed with her presence without being stereotypical or naive is a perfect definition of femininity. In the other way around, if you were to ask people who the most masculine man in the world is or has been, some would say Bruce Lee, John Wayne, or Robert De Niro. Yet I believe that one of the manliest men I have ever come across is David Goggins.
And those guys, all I wanted to be was an uncommon man. In my whole life, I was not that. Much worse than that. But I read stories about men like you, Doc, who had the courage to jump on grenades and stuff like that. So I came home one day from working at a job called Ecolab, where I sprayed for cockroaches. Made $1,000 a month, weighing 300 pounds. And I got home and I watched a show on Discovery Channel of guys carrying boats and logs, Navy SEAL training. And I decided to make a change in my life. And I called the recruiter up and he asked me these questions. You had to meet a certain age, like a certain height and weight limit. I was 6'1" and 300 pounds. He laughed at me. 7 other recruiters laughed at me. One recruiter finally said, "Come on in, I'm too busy to talk to you on the phone." He didn't know how much I weighed. I walked in the recruiter's office and he looked at me and he said, "You're fat and you're black." I said I want to be a Navy SEAL. I didn't know there had only been 35 African American Navy SEALs at that time in over 70 years. He said I basically had to lose 106 pounds in less than 3 months because of my age. I was getting too old. I came back 3 months later, 106 pounds lighter. Thank you.
His way of life is so incredibly disciplined. The only way you can see him is as a leader. He's immensely mentally and physically strong, and yet he is also capable of understanding the hardship humanity comes across, not only men's, and in a non-toxic yet raw way. The reason I'm mentioning this is because we have to acknowledge what happens when we are truly in tune with our essence. One is finally able to change the world in a completely unique way. If you take a look at the impact these two people are still leaving on the world, the first impact is their femininity and masculinity showing, and the second impact is their uniqueness. There wasn't and isn't anybody like them, because not only did they become feminine or masculine, they also became themselves. They have an identity and a soul with passions. Audrey Hepburn's impact began with her femininity. Her elegance and grace captivated the whole world, but it was her depth and her personality that made her unforgettable. David Goggins' impact started with his masculinity. His strength and leadership inspired countless of people, but his raw honesty and individuality are what set him apart.
Here, you see it's about 3 o'clock in the morning, and there's not a car or a person in sight. If you pan over here, it's the same thing. Not a car or a person in sight. People want to know where I find my strength at, where I get my strength. I get it from a lot of places, but right now, this morning, I'm getting it from, there's not a motherfucker that's up.
You're not only a man or a woman, you're you. If you understand this and work toward your essence, which is your gender's energy and your uniqueness both, you will become what the world needs.